Chapter 1. Introduction. Michael Jackson was a famous singer and dancer. People called him the King of Pop. He was born in 1958 in Gary, Indiana, in the United States. He died in 2009 in Los Angeles, California. Michael was one of the best-selling music artists in the world. He sold more than 350 million records. Michael started his music career when he was very young. He was only 6 years old when he joined his family's group, the Jackson 5. The group was very successful. They made many hit songs. Some of their popular songs were I Want You Back and ABC. People loved the group and their music. In the 1980s, Michael started his solo career. He made many famous albums. Some of them were Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad. These albums had many hit songs. People all over the world listened to his music. They loved his songs and his dance moves. Michael was famous for his dance move called the moonwalk. He first did it on TV in 1983. Michael won many awards for his music. He won 13 Grammy Awards. This is a big honor in the music world. He also won many other awards from different countries. Michael was in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 2 times. This is a special place for great musicians. Besides music, Michael was known for his charity work. He gave a lot of money to help people in need. He supported many causes, like fighting hunger and helping sick children. Michael was a kind and caring person. However, Michael's life was not always easy. He faced many problems and controversies. Some people said bad things about him. But Michael's fans always loved him. They knew he was a great artist and person. In this book, you will learn more about Michael Jackson's life, music, and achievements. You'll also learn about his family, his dance moves, and his impact on the world. Chapter 2. Early Life. Michael Jackson was born on August 29, 1958. His birthplace was Gary, Indiana, in the United States. Gary was a small city near Chicago. Michael was the 8th child in his family. He had 5 brothers and 3 sisters. His parents were Joe and Catherine Jackson. Joe worked in a steel mill, and Catherine took care of the children. Michael's family was very talented. They loved music and singing. Michael's father, Joe, saw this talent in his children. He wanted them to become famous, so he started training them to sing and dance. Michael was only 5 years old when he started practicing with his brothers. Michael and his brothers formed a group called the Jackson 5. The group had 5 members: Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, Marlon, and Michael. Michael was the youngest, but he had a strong voice. He became the lead singer of the group. People loved his voice and his energy on stage. The Jackson family lived in a small house. They practiced their music in the living room. They worked very hard to become better singers and dancers. Sometimes they practiced for many hours a day. Joe was a strict teacher. He wanted his children to be the best. In 1968, the Jackson 5 got their first big chance. They signed a contract with a famous record company called Motown. This company had many famous artists, like Diana Ross and Stevie Wonder. The Jackson 5 moved to California to make music with Motown. Michael was only 10 years old when the Jackson 5 released their first album. The album was called Diana Ross Presents the Jackson 5. It was very successful. The first single from the album, I Want You Back, was a big hit. It reached #1 on the music charts. Michael's early life was full of music and hard work. He learned to sing and dance at a young age. This helped him become a great performer later in life. In the next chapter, you will learn more about the Jackson 5 and their success. Chapter 3. The Jackson 5. The Jackson 5 was a famous music group from the United States. The group had 5 members: Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, Marlon, and Michael. They were all brothers. The group was formed in the late 1960s by their father, Joe Jackson. Joe saw the talent in his children and wanted them to be famous. The Jackson 5 started performing in local talent shows and clubs. They won many competitions. People loved their music and their energetic performances. Soon, they became famous in their hometown of Gary, Indiana. In 1968, the Jackson 5 got a big opportunity. They signed a contract with Motown, a famous record company. Motown had many popular artists, like Diana Ross and Stevie Wonder. The Jackson 5 moved to California to work with Motown and make music. Michael played a very important role in the group. He was the youngest member, but he had a strong and unique voice. He became the lead singer of the Jackson 5. People loved his voice and his energy on stage. Michael was also a great dancer. He could do many difficult dance moves, even at a young age. The Jackson 5 had many successful songs with Motown. Some of their famous songs were I Want You Back, ABC, and I'll Be There. These songs were very popular. They reached the top of the music charts in the United States and other countries. The group also appeared on TV shows and in concerts. They had many fans. People loved their music, their performances, and their style. The Jackson 5 became one of the most famous music groups in the world. The success of the Jackson 5 helped Michael become more famous. He started his solo career in the 1970s. He laid his first solo album, Got to Be There, in 1971. Michael continued to perform with the Jackson 5, but he also started making his own music. The Jackson 5 was an important part of Michael's life and career. It helped him become a great performer and a famous artist. In the next chapter, you will learn about Michael's solo career and his famous albums. Chapter 4: Going Solo. In the 1970s, Michael Jackson started his solo career. He wanted to make his own music and become a famous artist. He was still a member of the Jackson 5, but he also worked on his own songs and albums. Michael's first solo album was called Got to Be There. It was released in 1972. The album had many good songs, like Got to Be There and Rockin' Robin. These songs were popular on the radio. People liked Michael's voice and his style. In 1975, the Jackson 5 left Motown. They signed a new contract with a different record company called Epic Records. They changed their name to the Jacksons. Michael continued to work with his brothers, but he also focused on his solo career. In 1979, Michael released a very important album. It was called Off the Wall. This album was different from his earlier music. It had a new sound and style. The songs were a mix of pop, disco, and soul music. Some of the famous songs from this album were Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and Rock With You. These songs were big hits. They reached the top of the music charts in many countries. Off the Wall was a big success for Michael. It sold more than 20 million copies worldwide. It also won many awards. Michael won his first Grammy Award for the song Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. This was a big honor for him. Michael's solo career continued to grow. He worked with many famous musicians and producers like Quincy Jones. Quincy helped Michael make better music. He was a very important person in Michael's career. In the 1980s, Michael became even more famous. He released some of his best albums, like Thriller and Bad. These albums had many hit songs and sold millions of copies. Michael's solo career made him one of the most famous artists in the world. In the next chapter, you will learn about Michael's most famous album, Thriller, and its impact on his career and the music industry. Chapter 5. Thriller. In 1982, Michael Jackson released his 6th solo album. It was called Thriller. This album was very special. It had many famous songs and became one of the best-selling albums in the world. It also had a big impact on Michael's career and the music industry. Thriller was made with the help of Quincy Jones. Quincy was a famous music producer. He worked with Michael on his previous album, Off the Wall. They had a good relationship, and they made great music together. Thriller had 9 songs. Some of the famous songs were Thriller, Billie Jean, Beat It, and Wanna Be Startin' Somethin'. These songs were very popular. They played on the radio and in dance clubs. People loved the music and the new sound. Thriller was a mix of different music styles. It had pop, rock, soul, and funk songs. This made the album interesting and unique. Michael's voice and his dance moves also made the song special. The album Thriller was a big success. It sold more than 66 million copies worldwide. It reached the top of the music charts in many countries. It also won many awards, like 8 Grammy Awards. This was a record at the time. Thriller also had famous music videos. The music video for the song Thriller was like a short movie. It was 14 minutes long and had a story about zombies. Michael's dance moves in the video were very famous. Many people tried to copy his dance moves. The music video for the song Billie Jean was also important. It was one of the first music videos by a black artist to be played on MTV. MTV was a popular music TV channel in the 1980s. This helped Michael become more famous and break barriers in the music industry. The success of Thriller made Michael Jackson a superstar. He became the king of pop. His music, his dance moves, and his style changed the music world. He inspired many other artists and performers. In the next chapter, you will learn about Michael's dance moves and his famous performances. Chapter 6. Dance and Performance. Michael Jackson was not only a great singer, but also an amazing dancer. He had many unique dance moves. These moves made his performances special and exciting. People all over the world loved to watch him dance. One of Michael's most famous dance moves was the moonwalk. This move looked like he was walking on the moon. He moved backward, but seemed to be going forward. It was a very interesting and difficult move. Michael first did the moonwalk on TV in 1983. He was performing the song Billie Jean at a music show. People were amazed by his dance move. They wanted to learn how to do it. Michael had many other dance moves too. Some of them were the robot, the sidewalk, and the toe stand. These moves were part of his performances. They made his shows more fun and exciting. People loved to watch him dance and sing at the same time. Michael's performances were also famous for his energy and style. He wore special clothes, like a red jacket, a black hat, and a white glove. These clothes became symbols of Michael Jackson. Many people wanted to dress like him. Michael's concerts were big events. He performed in many countries, like the United States, Japan, and England. His concerts were called tours. Some of his famous tours were the Bad Tour, the Dangerous Tour, and the History Tour. These tours had many concerts and lasted for months. During his concerts, Michael sang and danced for hours. He performed many of his famous songs, like Thriller, Beat It, and Billie Jean. The concerts also had special effects, like lights and fireworks. These effects made the shows more interesting and enjoyable. Michael Jackson's dance moves and performances captivated audiences worldwide. He was a great entertainer and a true icon. His music and dance will always be remembered. In the next chapter, you will learn about Michael's humanitarian work and how he helped many people in need. Chapter 7. Humanitarian Work. Michael Jackson was not only a great artist, but also a kind and caring person. He helped many people in need. He gave money and support to different charities and causes. Michael wanted to make the world a better place. One of Michael's important causes was helping sick children. He visited hospitals and talked to children who were sick. He also gave money to build new hospitals and medical centres. Michael wanted the children to have better care and treatment. Michael also supported the fight against hunger. He believed that no one should be hungry in the world. He worked with different organisations to provide food for people in need. One famous project was We Are the World. This was a song and music video made in 1985. Many famous singers, like Lionel Richie and Stevie Wonder, worked together on this project. The money from the song was given to help people in Africa who were hungry. Another important cause for Michael was education. He believed that all children should have the chance to learn and go to school. He gave money to build schools and libraries. He also supported programs that helped children learn music and art. Michael also cared about the environment. He wanted to protect the planet and its animals. He wrote a song called Earth Song to raise awareness about this issue. The song talked about the problems the Earth was facing, like pollution and deforestation. Throughout his life, Michael gave millions of dollars to different charities and causes. He received many awards for his humanitarian work, like the Humanitarian of the Year award from the United Nations. Michael's kindness and generosity touched many people's lives. In the next chapter, you will learn about the later years of Michael's life, his struggles, and his enduring legacy. Chapter 8. Personal Life. Michael Jackson's personal life was very interesting. He had many close friends, marriages, and children. People were always curious about his life and wanted to know more about him. In 1994, Michael got married for the first time. His wife's name was Lisa Marie Presley. She was the daughter of the famous singer Elvis Presley. Michael and Lisa Marie were married for 2 years. They got divorced in 1996. After his divorce, Michael got married again. In 1996, he married Debbie Rowe. Debbie was a nurse. Michael and Debbie had 2 children together. Their first child was a boy named Michael Joseph Jackson Jr., also known as Prince. Their second child was a girl named Paris Michael Catherine Jackson. Michael and Debbie got divorced in 1999. Michael also had a third child. His name was Prince Michael Jackson too, also known as Blanket. Blanket's mother was not Debbie Rowe. Her identity was kept private. Michael was very protective of his children. He wanted them to have a normal life, away from the media. He often covered their faces when they were in public. This was to keep their privacy and protect them from the attention. Michael had many famous friends in his life. Some of his friends were celebrities, like Elizabeth Taylor, Diana Ross, and Paul McCartney. He also had friends who were not famous. Michael valued friendship and trust very much. In his personal life, Michael was known for his kindness and generosity. He loved to help people and make them happy. He was also a private person. He did not like to share too much about his life with the public. In the next chapter, you will learn about the later years of Michael's life, his struggles, and his enduring legacy. Chapter 9. Controversies. Michael Jackson was a famous and talented artist, but he also faced some controversies in his life. These controversies were about legal issues and his home, the Neverland Ranch. People had different opinions about these issues. One of the controversies was about Michael's appearance. Over the years, his skin became lighter. Some people thought that Michael was trying to change his race, but the truth was that Michael had a skin condition called vitiligo. This condition causes the skin to lose its colour. Michael talked about this in interviews and tried to explain the truth. Michael also faced legal issues. In the 1990s and 2000s, he was accused of some serious crimes. These accusations were about his relationships with children. Michael went to court to defend himself. He said that he was innocent and that he loved children. In 2005, Michael was found not guilty of all charges. Another controversy was about Michael's home, the Neverland Ranch. This was a big and beautiful house in California. It had many special features, like an amusement park, a zoo, and a movie theatre. Michael invited children to visit the ranch and have fun. Some people thought that the Neverland Ranch was a magical place. Others thought that it was strange and inappropriate for an adult to have a home like this. Michael said that he created the ranch to help children and give them a place to be happy. The controversies in Michael's life were difficult for him. They affected his career and his reputation. Many people still loved him and believed in him, but others had doubts about his actions and choices. In the final chapter, you will learn about the end of Michael's life, his legacy, and how he is remembered today. Chapter 10. Legacy. Michael Jackson's life was full of success and challenges. He made a big impact on music, pop culture, and his fans. His legacy is still strong today, even after his untimely death. On June 25, 2009, Michael Jackson passed away. He was only 50 years old. His death was a big shock for the world. People were very sad and could not believe that he was gone. Fans gathered in many places to remember him and celebrate his life. Michael's music and dance moves changed the world. He created a new style of pop music that mixed different sounds and rhythms. His albums, like Thriller and Bad, are still popular today. They have sold millions of copies and inspired many artists. Michael's performances were also amazing. He was a great entertainer who knew how to captivate an audience. His dance moves, like the moonwalk, are still famous and copied by many people. His concerts and tours were big events that brought people together. Michael's impact on pop culture was huge. He was a true icon, with a unique style and image. His clothes, like the red jacket and white glove, became symbols of his success. His music videos, like Thriller and Billie Jean, changed the way people thought about music and storytelling. Michael also had a big impact on his fans. They loved him and supported him through the good and bad times. They admired his talent, his kindness, and his dedication to making the world a better place. Michael Jackson's legacy will always be remembered. He was the king of pop and a true legend. His music, dance, and spirit will live on in the hearts of his fans and the generations to come.